Hi, second grade reading friends. I'm back with a new read aloud. So I read a few Franklins for the past few days, and I have to tell you, I miss Jack and Annie. So I have a new Jack and Annie book. I went into my son's library. It's actually a hardcover, my favorite kind of book. It's called Seasons of the Sandstorms. And if you look at the cover, it looks like they're in the desert. You can see the sand. They're dressed again in different types of costumes according to the place that they're going to travel, and they're riding camels. I know camels are in the desert. So this happens to be my son Jake's book. He's now 20, but look, he even wrote his name in it when he was little. So this book's an older book. Must have had it for a while. Obviously, I read it. He read it. So I brought it on back for Jack and Annie. Season of the Sandstorms. Again, Mary Pope Osborne. The illustrator is Sal Murdoka. Dear reader, many years ago, I journeyed overland from Greece to Nepal. On my trip, I traveled from Damascus, Syria, to Baghdad, Iraq, riding in a van throughout the desert. Just before sunset, my traveling companion and I came upon a tea tent in the middle of nowhere. There, an old man and his great-grandson served tea to the few travelers who passed their way. The man and the boy invited us to share their dinner and camp near their tent. I'll never forget their kindness, nor the brilliant sunset over the desert, nor the cold, starry night that followed. It has been a joy to return to these memories while writing Season of the Sandstorms, and I hope I can revisit the country of Iraq someday. Mary Pope Osborne. That is so cool. So they're driving in a van across the desert. There's nothing in the desert, nothing but sand. And they come across a tent where an old man and his grandson are sharing or serving tea to travelers coming by. So not only did she get to see that and experience the tea, but she was able to experience a beautiful sunset in the desert, something that a lot of us probably won't get the chance to do. So that to me is magical. Okay. Away, for we are ready to a man. Our camels sniff the evening. Lead on, O master of the caravan. Lead on, the merchant princes of Baghdad. A little poem to start us with by James Elroy Flecker. Prologue. Remember, prologue is the beginning. One summer day, a mysterious treehouse appeared in the woods. A brother and sister named Jack and Annie soon learned that the treehouse was magic. It could take them to any time, at any place in history. They also learned that the treehouse belonged to Morgan Le Fay, a magical librarian from the legendary realm of Camelot. After Jack and Annie traveled on many adventures for Morgan, Merlin the magician began sending them on Merlin missions. In the treehouse, with help from two young sorcerers named Teddy and Kathleen, Jack and Annie visited 4 mythical places and found valuable objects to help save Camelot. On their next 4 Merlin missions, Jack and Annie were told they must travel to real times and real places in history to prove to Merlin that they could use magic wisely. They have just returned from a successful mission in the city of Venice over 250 years ago, and now they are waiting to hear from Merlin again. Venice is in Italy. Chapter 1, The Golden Age. Jack put his math homework aside. He opened the drawer beside his bed and pulled out a small handmade book. For the 100th time, he stared at the title on the cover. 10 Magic Rhymes for Annie and Jack from Teddy and Kathleen. For weeks, Jack had kept the book hidden in his drawer, wondering when he and Annie would be able to use its magic again. The book's 10 rhymes were to be used on 4 missions, and each rhyme could only be used once. Jack and Annie had already used 2 rhymes on a mission in Venice, Italy. Jack! Annie rushed into Jack's room. Her eyes were shining. Bring the book! Let's go! Where? Said Jack. You know where. Come on, Annie called as she ran back downstairs. Jack quickly put Teddy and Kathleen's book into his backpack. He pulled on his jacket and took off down the stairs. Annie was waiting on the front porch. Hurry, she cried. Wait! How do you know it's there? Jack said. Because I just saw it, Annie shouted. She hurried down the porch steps and crossed the yard. You saw it? Actually saw it? Yelled Jack as he followed Annie through the chilly afternoon air. Yes, yes, Annie yelled back. When? Shouted Jack. Just now, said Annie. I was walking home from the library and I had this feeling. So I went and looked. It's waiting for us. Jack and Annie raced into the Frog Creek woods. They ran between the budding trees over the fresh green moss of early spring until they came to the tallest oak. See? Said Annie. Yes, breathed Jack. He stared up at the magic tree house. Its rope ladder dangled above the mossy ground. Annie started climbing up. Jack followed. When they got inside, Jack pulled off his backpack. Look, a book and a letter, Annie said. She picked up a folded letter from the floor, and Jack picked up a book with a gold cover. Baghdad, Jack said. He showed the book to Annie. Its title was The Golden Age of Baghdad. A golden age? Said Annie. That sounds cool. Let's go. Wait, we should read our letter first, said Jack. Oh, right, said Annie. She unfolded the paper. Merlin's handwriting, she said. She read aloud. Dear Jack and Annie of Frog Creek, your mission is to go to journey to Baghdad of long ago and help the Caliph spread wisdom to the world. To succeed, you must be humble and use your magic wisely. Follow these... Wait! What's a Caliph? Said Jack. And what's Merlin mean, spread wisdom to the world? That's a big responsibility. I don't know, said Annie. Let me finish. She kept reading. Follow these instructions. Ride a ship of the desert on a cold, starry night. Ride through the dust and hot morning light. Friends, I know a ship travels over the water, and I know there's no water in the desert. I wonder what she means by ride a ship of the desert. Think about that. Find a horse on a dome, the one who sees all, in the heart of the city, behind the third wall. Beneath birds who sing, in the room of the tree, greet a friend you once knew, and a new friend to be. Remember that life is full of surprises. Return to the treehouse before the moon rises. Signed, M. That sounds pretty easy, said Annie. No, it doesn't, said Jack. All these instructions are so mysterious. We don't know what any of them mean. Well, I guess we'll find out when we get there, said Annie. But first, we have to get there. Make a wish. Okay, said Jack. He pointed to the cover of the book. I wish we can go to the golden age of Baghdad, he said. The wind started to blow. The house started to spin. It spun faster and faster. Then everything was still. Absolutely still. That, my friends, is the end of the prologue in chapter 1. I wonder where they're going to land. Hopefully Baghdad. I hope they get there. And again, there's lots of deserts. Okay, hope you enjoyed it. I'm so happy that I brought back Jack and Annie. Bye, second grade friends.